All righty. Welcome back, everyone, to the Prosperity Game. It's Robert McPhee and Scott McCurdy, and it is Monday of week number 4, the final week of the game. And today is day 10. Wow, how is that possible? It feels like we just started. It is day number 10. And if you look below, you will see a remarkable check for $256,000. And we're going to play the game the same way. You're going to click through to the Facebook page. Let us know, where did that money come from, and what are you going to do with it. And Scott and I are going to be right along there with you to participate and offer our feedback and encouragement along the way. And today there's a couple things we want to do. One is, first of all, congratulate you, because if you're watching this video, reading this message, still actively engaged in the game, then that's an accomplishment in and of itself. And that was our invitation from the very beginning. So it truly is a time to congratulate yourself, to pat yourself on the back, and to recognize that it's the home stretch, and hang in there and keep going, because there's more fun to come. So Scott, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to that.
Yeah, no, I'm having a blast just reading everybody's post. Congratulations, just echoing what Robert said. You know, you've made it this far, keep going, you're playing full out. What a great group, and that, and I, in the midpoint checkpoint call that we had. Normally it's what, half an hour, Robert? And
yeah.
we were going into overtime. I apologize having to drop off. I had planned for half an hour, and lo and behold, I had another issue to take care of that just jumped on me, so I had to drop off. But the energy on that call was so good. We have people that are really keen to speak up and to share what's showing up for them, positive and any resistance. Just really great. I'm a blast, and I love the energy that's coming from the group.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing up that reminder about that call that we did last Monday. It really was a fabulous call. Huge thanks to those of you who were able to be on the call and were willing to share your insights. I was telling Scott that it was a much more insightful and really incredible call than what we usually see halfway through. So one, be sure to listen to the recording of that call, and two, be sure to put on your calendar, a week from today, we'll be doing a call to kind of wrap up and hear from people about what their experience of the entire game was. So want to make sure that we have as many people as possible joining us for that. And then the other thing we wanted to discuss today in this realm of helping you get the most value from this experience as you possibly can, 3 times fast, is the topic of deserving. And we've seen some really interesting conversation on the Facebook page. And this is something that literally always comes up as these numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger. All of us, even if you've played the game before, come up against this question of deserving. And do I deserve this kind of money? So I'm going to put on my co-facilitator shoes, which I'm not used to, and kind of bite my tongue and let Scott take the lead on this one and share his insight and his experience around this topic of deserving and how it fits in with the prosperity game. And then I may have a little to add as well.
Okay, good. So we talked about this a little bit in previous calls. How we play one thing, the prosperity game in this case, really tends to show up or sort of bleed into how we do everything. So if you're starting to run into some resistance, or you have run into some resistance in terms of, oh my goodness, this is more money than I've ever received at a single time. In some cases, you may have already, or you will be, receiving checks in one day that may rival or surpass what you've earned in a year. So that's by design. Be uncomfortable, don't quit. Get creative. There's been some great fun posts where people have gone way outside the box. Just make sure that you're receiving, that you're really opening yourself to receiving. And if stuff's coming up that I don't deserve this, or I can't imagine ever getting this much money, that's a good thing. That's really testing your law of desire, your law of attraction. That's really cracking you open in terms of being able to receive, and it will show up in your life quite quite in many different profound ways. I myself, ran into some resistance. The first time I played, it was incredible. I really was tempted to quit, and I just kept pushing through. Robert, maybe you can talk a little bit about what Jack talks about when you have a struggle. That the only thing to do is kind of push through it. That victory and liberation and freedom and insight is on the other side of that resistance. He does such a great job of talking about that. It shows up in the prosperity game. I just really want to encourage people. It is normal for you, especially when you get into these big numbers. Am I worthy of this much money? And money is energy. Money is, it may be that, you've never received that much money before, but also it could be that, there's some self-confidence, some self-esteem issues. You might also, subconsciously not even be, able to believe that you could have, all kinds of support from friends and family, that, that you could be prosperous in other ways, in addition to money, love, support, so this is a really good thing. I'll stop because I can go on for about 2 hours.
Two public speakers. Yes, this could be a very long video. And yes. I do think what you brought up about, the best way through, the best way to get there is to go through. And it's not the only way. There's actually all sorts of different ways. You can go around, you can go over, you can dig a tunnel, you can get under, you can wait until it's a good time. There's all sorts of strategies you can use. But the idea is that the best way through, the fastest way through, is to go through, directly through, and just face whatever resistance is showing up. And I think one of the beauties of the prosperity game is that it is a game, and we're playing it for real. And as Scott said, how we do anything is how we do everything. But the bottom line is, it is a game. And interestingly enough, we're talking about two things today: this concept of money, which is totally made up, and this concept of deserving, which is also totally made up, and putting them together. Do I deserve this amount of money? And believe me, I know, like, I have played this game before. I know exactly what's coming. I put myself out there as the all-knowing facilitator, and I bump up against it every single time. And the one kind of insight that I would offer is to help you kind of go through that. Is think of it from the perspective of a really, really, really wealthy person. Not yourself, but the person you're going to deliver the value to. So whatever it is you do, whatever service or product or whatever that you bring to the marketplace, if you think of that as being delivered not just to an average person, but to a super wealthy person, and at just the right time. Like, if you met this person who was a multi-millionaire, and you gave them just what they needed, if what you have to offer is just what they needed in that point, how much would it be worth to them? And for a lot of people, that will help them kind of see it from a different perspective and let go of that deserving, no one would ever pay me that much money for what I do kind of a thing. Because you do have something, whoever you are, whoever any of us is, we have something that's incredibly valuable to the right person at the right time. So anyway, that's another little bit kind of a trick that you can use to open up that possibility that what you have to offer, what you do, could easily be worth $250,000, like today's check, to the right person at the right time. So Scott, I'll flip it back to you, because I know once we start going back and forth, sometimes there's other stuff that shows up. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
Well, I'm reminded when you're talking and we're talking about deserving, we're telling ourselves a story. It could be based on, what we learned from our families, from school, as kids or as adults. And that story might be abundant. It might be limiting. And interestingly, listening to Joe Dispenza, at a workshop in Toronto in May, he mentioned that 50% of what we remember is not true. It never happened. We map, the world around us, and we often map. We tell ourselves a story that's not true. So that really, stuck with me. If 50% of what I remember is not true, and what I remember is that, the universe is a universe of scarcity, not abundance, that I don't deserve, this check that showed up, or I don't deserve, these great friends in my life. I don't deserve these, these opportunities in my life. If that's based on an untruth. Isn't that amazing? You know, and this game is giving us the opportunity to challenge what we remember. You know, we actually live in an abundant universe. Working with Jack Canfield, working with you, Robert, you know, I changed the limiting belief from, you know, the world is, you know, basically out to get me, to the world is conspiring to help me succeed. And that was so liberating. And this game is just doing that again and again and again. I'm having a blast. Robert, I love you. I thank you for inviting me into this, and I love all the people that are playing this game. My law of desire, my law of attraction is just definitely being amped up playing this game.
All right. Well, we've officially set a record for the longest prosperity game email video ever. But hopefully you hear us loud and clear in the sense that we are here to support you in whatever way we can. We're playing right along with you and enjoying the process and feeling the same kinds of resistance and fears that show up as part of the process. And we'll be with you through this final week. So again, click through to the Facebook page, $256,000 today. Let us know where your check came from, what you're going to do with it, and put that call next week on Monday on your calendar so that we can all get together and share our experiences of the prosperity game. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.